Welcome gamers to Against the Storm. My name is Daz Tactic. Welcome to the channel. I hope you're going to enjoy this little mini series. I don't want to play too many episodes, but I just want to play enough so that you get a feel for this amazingly good game. It's the best city builder style of game that I've played since Settlers 2, which is back from the 1990s. I really haven't enjoyed any other. I loved Settlers 2 when it came out, and this game has got so much to like about it. It's not the same sort of game as Settlers 2, it's just the experience of city building with other mechanics sort of mixed in with it. This game actually does do a very, very nice job of adding a lot of really procedural elements. You don't know exactly what you're going to get every single time you play it. Sometimes you'll be unlucky and sometimes you'll be lucky when you sort of play it, so you sort of got to expect that a little bit. I am just going to go and create a new profile, and then we'll get started. I should say this has been about the 5th time I've tried to record this series. It's been really, really hard. I'll pick this one. It's been hard because I just haven't been picking the right things, and I want to actually show enough so that you get a bit of a feel for how to play it, but also some tips on how to actually play it reasonably well. It's early access. Also, there are times when the save games do get destroyed essentially through this process. So just be aware of that. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So through this early access phase, there's going to be a lot of changes. You've got like a roadmap down through here with a lot of different sorts of things coming in to the actual game as well. It's a difficult game, I've got to say. Like, it's sort of on that higher difficulty level. It's not much to learn as such, which is good. So it's sort of like an easy game to pick up. It's a very enjoyable game to play. But there's a lot of random content, not just random maps. There's actually there's all sorts of other decision-making processes that come into play as well, and so you've sort of almost got to sort of mesh the combination of different sorts of things across to then sort of make sense of things. So it's quite interesting. I find it quite interesting. I know that some players won't like that, but anyway, that's what I like. So let's get into it. Let's just go and start a new game. Now this is going to then show us the backstory. Because we're starting a new faction, and we'll start with a tutorial. So the Blightstorm, it sort of comes through. The only safe haven is the smouldering city, where the mysterious Scorched Queen reigns. The Scorched Queen is sort of like almost like an antagonist in some ways and a protagonist in other ways for you. So you're sort of for and against what you do to a large degree. It has a massive bearing on what you do. She's the one who gives you different gifts at times and then makes different demands as well. It's the mode of it reminds me very much. I'll just let you read what's going on through here. It's just talking about the actual Blightstorm that does come every so often. It then sort of destroys the environment, and you then start again and continue on. This is the tutorial, and so you sort of start off. I'll get into the actual element itself, so we won't do this one. I'm just going to go and press escape, skip tutorial, yes, and then what we'll do is we'll then just end up getting some basic buildings that we can then sort of make use of. I'll talk about these when we get into the actual game itself. It's worth doing the tutorial, by the way, I should point out. If you do the tutorial, you'll still end up at the same place as not doing the tutorial, but at least you'll have important knowledge, and it is actually important knowledge. You then end up a second phase of the tutorial. We're just going to skip past this one as well in this instance, and we unlock some other sorts of buildings back in through this side. And I'll just talk a little bit about, this episode will probably be in episode 0, to be honest. There's a lot to discuss about how the game actually does work. This is the overmap, or the strategic map, where you sort of then choose where things are going. I'll just skip past these. So it's essentially, we're one of the Queen's viceroys, and we sort of go off and create small settlements to then sort of have specific things that the Queen needs to gather in at the smouldering city to then build the next phase of the city to then sort of combat the Blightstorm. So it's sort of games within games within games, and all you really are is just sort of doing the beck and call of the city itself. So sorry, the Queen herself. Let's just go in. We've just got to buy an upgrade. Now we've only got 10 food stockpiles at this point in time. We just go and unlock this particular one, and this then unlocks deeds, so we can then sort of start to have a look at different things. But we're okay where we are. We'll just leave that one where that is and get out of there and out of here as well. And so now this will be just showing where the Blightstorm actually is. So the Blightstorm cycle will then come and, as I say, destroy the environment. This is just getting a summary of the last cycle. And so the game is played cycle after cycle after cycle. So you just continue the same profile moving forward, which is quite cool. There's the Blight Storm, and then it resets into a different world. Now, this world is not random. This is almost like a bit more tutorial to a degree. What I will do is I will just pick a point, and then we'll just sort of go from in here. There's certain aspects like this Royal Outpost is a modifier. What it does do is it allows you to communicate with the Crown, so you get one extra order choice. Back over here, we actually have some fertile grounds which sort of promote farming land, so you can sort of almost be assured of farming land in through there. You've also have different biomes, like this is Scarlet Orchard biome. We've got a marshlands biome. It's all marshlands back in through there as well. Coral forest back over through this side. So there's a whole range of different sorts of biomes, but the one that I'm just going to start with the Royal Woodlands, and I'll start next to this Royal Outpost, just so we can sort of get started with at least extra orders. So we then have to choose our first caravan, and I'm going to choose the one with the the 6 lizards and the 3 beavers. Now, I should point out, when I first sort of saw that there was lizards and beavers and humans, I thought, this is a kid's game. It's not really my sort of game. I thought it was going to be cutesy sort of stuff that didn't really sort of make much sense, but what it does do, and it's not that at all, by the way, it actually is really, really cool. It's just a really simple way of defining what sort of people live in your city, what they're good at, what they're bad at, what they need. And so you can very quickly get a feel for, okay, well, I need to be doing X or I need to be doing Y to keep certain people happy. So it just classifies the different types of people. It's a simple way to do that, and I like what they've done with that. So anyway, we'll just go there. Next thing, we have to choose our difficulty. Now, I've got to say, this is like the 5th time that I've actually started recording this series. And I mean, not just recording one video. I mean, getting about 3 or 4 videos in and then realizing, I've made a big mistake. I better start again. So I'm going to play on the easiest difficulty, which is just Settler. I started off on Veteran, and then I went down to Pioneer, did a couple on Pioneer, and it's my second run on Settler. It's a hard game. So give me a break, it's a hard game. And so these actually, depending on what you do, you've got different parameters that then impact more random things actually in the game. So when you actually are playing your settlement, and every time you start a new settlement, you can always abandon a settlement and then just come straight back in and start a new one as well. So you do actually have the option to just bounce around and do what you want to do. But in this case, you can sort of see there that there's embarkation points, there's 0. Like the others will reduce embarkation points, but this one allows us to sort of start with 3 essentially, so there's no reduction. Negative effects are only 1, positive effects are 2, which is good, and the effect range is from very beneficial down to devastating. The hostility multiplier, I'll talk about that in game, is ×1, and the maximum hostility is 6. And if we go to, for example, Viceroy, which is like the highest difficulty level, you can see it's reduced 2 of the embarkation points. You've got 4 negatives and 1 positive. Again, the same effect range. The hostility multiplied by 3, not 1, and it goes up to 31 hostility, which is a lot, which is a hell of a lot. So anyway, we're just going to go back down to Settler and move our way through. The next process we have to then do is actually what are we going to take. Now, if we've got all of our embarkation points, so we're just going to grab all of these. And so when you are normally going through, this is still part of the tutorial, but we'll just let this one sort of roll through. May the storm be gentle on you, Viceroy. There we go. So there's the summary. Embark. In we go. And every time you come in, it's going to be a different map with different parameters. I mean, certain things will sort of stay the same, but these can be randomized as well with different sorts of things that will show up. So you've got mushrooms after the rain. So in this case, +3 to mushrooms production. Gain additional mushrooms every yield from gathering, farming, or production. So this is a good one for mushrooms. This only happens in the drizzle season. There's 3 seasons. I'll explain that when we get into the game. And we also have fermented rain. So the rain is sticky and tastes like wine. During drizzle season, wine can be produced at the rain collector. So again, only in the drizzle season. Then we actually have some storm effects in through here. So this one in through here, Looming Darkness, is going to remove like 4 from the global resolve, which is like the morale of your people. And so that's important to sort of manage the resolve. And then finally, if you have hostility level 1 or more, you're then going to have a fog that comes in. And so A veil of moisture obscures vision. It's hard to walk in these conditions. And so what this one does is it exhausts the villagers. So villagers with this effect have movement of negative 40%. So they slow right down during the storm season. Only in the storm season. That's not too bad, actually. I don't mind that one. To prevent it, fulfill the following needs. You need just housing times 1. So we have to get to like a different sort of housing level, which I don't think we are at. We wouldn't be able to get to that one easily. So anyway, that's sort of where we are with everything. We also have these additional effects. So we've got the Royal Outpost, which we saw. We've got Gift of the Woodlands. So we have more wood comes when we chop down trees, and we have a settler as well. So villagers will eat less food in through here for this particular modifier. So when we sort of close this one off, we'll sort of see that we're actually here on the map. As I say, this map is randomly generated each time. You can see that there'll often be like a resource or two close by. I'll just sort of have a bit of a zoom around. Oh, there we go. We've got another resource back over there as well. So we've got a couple of resources. We've got these eggs, so Stormbird's Nest. Now these require one of two different types of buildings. We've got like a scavenger's camp, which we do actually have access to because it's in colour. And if we don't actually have something like the trapper's camp in through here, it's something we don't actually have. But if we did have it, we'd then be able to use either one of these to collect the eggs. Back over here, we actually have clay deposits, and these require, and again, this is in colour, the Stonecutter's Camp. So we do actually have access to the Stonecutter's Camp. So this is sort of like these are the starting off parameters. Having a look around at the map again as well, we've got these little glades. The glades unlock sort of different little bonuses. Now, these little glades unlock bonuses. Then we have like these bigger glades, dangerous glades. These give you a lot more. There's more risk involved with these, but there's also much more benefit as well. So these are actually, you do want to be unlocking a few of these as you go through. And then as we go further out, this should be very dangerous. Here we go. So this is actually for forbidden glades. The Crown sends a warning about this glade. It's very dangerous and requires a lot of resources to explore, but will contain great amounts of treasure. So again, big rewards if you can get past the risk that it presents. A lot of these are just going to be sort of smallish, sort of different areas. These are outside of the area that we're sort of that we can operate in. There's another dangerous one down through there. There's all these different glades, and one of the great things about this game is you don't know what they're going to present to you. They present different challenges. They present different opportunities. It's really wonderful way of actually playing the game. Now, initially we are going to be needing to break into some of these sort of low-level glades. Now, we've got 3 there that are all fairly close. We could actually use this as an expansion area, as an example. Let's talk a little bit about some more of the user interface. We'll start up in the top left here. Here's the 3 different types of units, or the two different types of characters that you have available to you. So you've got the humans. And I'll just read the comments there. So it says an adaptable species, but very susceptible to the rain. Humans are adept at farming and really enjoy brewing. So farming and brewing is what they really like doing. These are the beavers. So beavers are hardworking and honest, but also quite demanding. They're gifted woodworkers and enjoy engineering. So again, anything to do with woodworking, they're going to enjoy. And then we finally have the lizards. So lizards are very resilient and distrustful species. They're very good with animals and meat production, prefer to work in warm environments due to their cold-blooded nature. Now, if I open these things up, I'll just open all 3 of these up. This is sort of like goes into more detail. This down through here is their resolve, which essentially is their happiness / morale. And so we want to get them above this little blue line in each of these instances to sort of make them be more than just content if we can do it. So we want to sort of raise this up beyond these limits if we can do it. They have different things that will push their resolve up. And so, for example, shelter will give them a +3. Human housing will give them an extra +3. Then we've got the jerky. They do enjoy eating jerky, so it's a +4. Biscuits, they like a +5. Back through here, pies they like. Clothing. Leisure, so they enjoy their leisure at +8. And then a religion as well. They do like getting into religion if they can get to that point. That's sort of more late game. You've got other summaries in through there. Combined effects at this point in time is +1. So that's sort of because of potentially one of these, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Okay, so I'm not sure why we've got the +1. Yeah, I don't know, actually. I don't know why we've got the +1 sitting up there. There's nothing much down in here. Sacred Pyre. Royal Outpost, that's not going to do anything. And the same then through here, shelter, beaver housing, biscuits, pickled goods, clothing, leisure, again, education in this case, not religion, and luxury items they like as well. So they do like to have luxury services. And then finally we have like the shelters again for the lizards, the lizard housing, jerky, same as the humans, skewers, which is unique to the lizards. They like eating skewers. Pies, the pies are the same as the humans, back up through here again as well. Pickled goods, which is the same as the... Were they pickled goods up through here as well? Is that unique as well? No, pickled goods were beavers. So you can sort of see different sorts of things. Now, when you've, I'll just keep on going with this one. Brawling, so enjoy this. So this need is fulfilled in the tavern, the clan hall, explorer's lodge. There's a few different places that they could actually do their brawling. And then we've got religion as well. Again, same as the humans back up the top there. So they've got different needs that push their resolve up. And this is actually an important part of the game, so just be aware of that. Over through here, we have the different classes of resources. Now, there's more than just the 4. So we've got like food stocks. We'll then show a summary of the food, building materials, crafting resources, and fuel. So this is just a very, very quick summary. If we click on this one, for example, the main warehouse, you'll see all of those things in there as well. So the warehouse is where that's all sort of stored. Just leave that one where that is. It's the first year. We'll just explain how this goes. This is the speed. It's currently paused. If I press space, it'll just go to normal playback speed, but I can go faster if I want to. Back into here is the season. Now, there's 3 seasons in the game. There's drizzle, then there's sort of like clearing, which is sort of like where you gather any sort of farming that you've done. Drizzle is sort of like your planting stage and growing stage. Gathering is your collection stage, and then after the 3rd season is storm, and storm is where the bad things actually happen. You also then have the hostility of the forest. So the forest is sort of against you as well, and as you do different things, you're going to get the forest itself is going to become more hostile, and the hostility then gives other different effects to the actual game as well. So it's sort of like it ramps up the difficulty as you play, and there's different things affect that. One of the things you'll sort of see as we go through, well, in fact, just going through this one, you got the how long you've been playing has an impact on how difficult or how hostile the forest actually is. How many regular glades you open up, how many dangerous or forbidden glades you open up, the villages that you have. You can see that they're worth 2 points each at this stage. The woodcutters, for each woodcutter, it really does dramatically ramp up the hostility of the forest. They don't like being chopped down. For some weird reason. They do like the hearths that we have, though, and the hearth is this thing in through here. So this is an ancient hearth. And so we've got one of those, so that reduces it by -30. And then the queen's impatience, which is sort of funny. The more impatient the queen becomes with us, the more sympathetic the forest will be with us. And so that's actually another way for us to become to get more favour from the forest. But in reality, we're going to be pissing the forest off as we move through the game. Back over through this side, we've then got the different effects that we were looking at before we started, the mushrooms, and then we also have the fermented rain. In the storm season, we have the looming darkness, which will then hit our resolve levels back over here. And then finally, if we get to hostility level 1, we then end up having this fog that will then sort of slow everyone right down. Now, that we will get there at some point. We do need to get to housing level 1, though. Okay, so down through here, we've got like different sorts of resources. Let's just get rid of those. By the way, actually, I should point out, this is quite well done. So if you are wanting to sort of read or find out anything about the game, this is definitely worth having a good look at. I might try to remember to come back a little bit when we have different things to look at, just so you get a bit of a feel for what's going on. It's a very deep and complex game in so many different ways, but it's also very procedurally generated. You can see why this is just going to be an episode 0, because we're not going to get very much done. I'll get a little bit done. Down the bottom here, we've got our different buildings. So you've got like roads in through there with you just got a path at this stage. Camps, you've got like a woodcutter's camp, a stone-cutter's camp. Now we know that this here, if I click on that one there, it requires a stone-cutter's camp. That one over here required the scavenger's camp, for example. So I can build these different things if I wanted to, but I also need to get wood. I essentially need to start getting wood fairly early. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Now, the other thing we actually have is a what else have we got? That was that one there. In food production, we can just, if we find farm fields, we can sort of start to at least prepare them. This is housing, just basic shelters for our people. Industry, we have like a crude workstation, which will allow us to produce planks, fabric, and bricks. These are used for building, so you sort of will need to probably use that early on. This is a nice early on sort of building, but it's slow. So it's a very sort of slow way of actually producing these. Then you've got a makeshift post as well. Again, it's a slow way of producing goods that you can then sell, or it's essentially getting high level goods back in through there. You've then got sort of like different city buildings, so you can actually create like a small hearth. It has to be a fair distance away though from the other hearth to be able to build that one. And so this again will then reduce the hostility of the forest by 30 for every one of those that you build. There's a small warehouse there as well, so you can sort of just get like a mini warehouse to build somewhere if you're wanting to. What else have we got then through there? And a trading post to actually then be able to trade with the capital city. And that again can save your bacon a few different times when you actually are playing. Then finally, we just have some decorations in through here. So we've got like benches, barrels, fences, fence corners, and we'll be wanting to do this one fairly early. Like when we click on, for example, the ancient hearth, we can sort of see that it requires different sorts of fuel. Now I'm just going to let it burn. At the moment, we've got like 20 coal and 40 wood. I'm just going to let it burn the coal. We might have to just check and see if we can get more coal at some point. We might try to save about 10 if we can. I can just turn these on or off, depending on what we've got available for burning. We can also sacrifice at some point, which we probably won't do in this particular run. And the hub itself can be upgraded. We need to have housing inside the hub area for 8 villages, and we also need to have some decorations as well. So 4 comfort decorations around the hub, and we'll get this one done fairly early. That will then just sort of give everyone a bit of a boost. By the way, there is one lizard that's looking after the hearth, and if I just go back across, you'll sort of see this little summary. We've got like 1 human population. They're not actually working anywhere at this stage. There's just 1 of them available, and they're homeless. We've got 4, 4, and 4 for the beavers, and then 6, 5, and 6 because 1 of them is working on the hearth. One of them is taking fuel from the warehouse and putting it into the actual hearth itself. I hope that all makes sense. So I don't want to be rushing this aspect. I think what we'll do is we'll expand out into these 3 to start with. So let's just go and build some of the things that we actually want. Now, there's more to talk about, and I will actually talk about that in just a second, but let's just go to the woodcutters camp. We're just going to throw the woodcutters camp over through here somewhere. In fact, I might just put it in the middle there, and I'm just going to rotate it by pressing the R key. So we'll just throw that one into there. And I will actually also start to pick up... Actually, I don't have to do any of that. Yeah, so we can sort of build these things whenever we like. Let's just unpause the game. Now, there's a few little things that you'll notice are going on. It's sort of saying... These have now kicked back in, so they're now sort of operational. So we've now got, if we had mushrooms, we'd be able to do more in through there. These guys are just going to go across and build this particular station back over this side. So let's just let them build that. Another thing that we actually have available is we've got to choose a blueprint. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'll just let this thing get built, and that way we can sort of just talk about the actual building itself. Right, so this building has now been done. I'll just pause again. Time is important. We don't want to be wasting too much time, so I am going to be pausing a little bit when I'm trying to explain things. If I just go into the actual camp itself, you can see it's a woodcutters camp. Now, they'll just automatically chop trees in this area if you want them to, but if you've got a specific need, you can... Oh, damn, I've just been told that the neighbour's going to be using a concrete saw outside, so I'm going to not be able to do too much today, I don't think. Anyway, we'll let it go. I'm glad that they did tell me, but God, I wish they weren't using it today. It's my one day of being able to sort of try to get on top of my recordings. Anyway, we're going to go and just add in the characters. Now we know that the beavers are good with woodworking, so let's just go and put 3 beavers into there. By doing that, and then having a look back in through here, you'll see that the woodcutters, there's 3 woodcutters, and it's adding now 24 to the hostility of the forest. So we do have to be careful of these things. Now, the other thing we can do with this woodcutters, I can just go and move it, and this can be moved for free. Some buildings you can't move, and some buildings you can move at a small cost of wood. Anyway, we'll need to get the wood going, and I do want to break through into these sorts of areas. and into this sort of area. So I can actually say, hey, look, just work in just this little area through here. So let's just get them working there to start with. So that will then just sort of allow the woodworkers that are there to sort of break into that area. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Queen, which we haven't really spoken about other than just, we're aware that there is like a big city somewhere, and the big city is ruled by the Queen, and we're the Viceroy of the Queen, and we're here to fulfill her orders. Now, we haven't seen any orders come through just yet, but we do actually have all of these different buildings that she's got available to us. So we can go and get more buildings. Now, in one sense, it'd be good to be able to wait until you actually open some things up before you make too many choices, but these first buildings could be useful to you. So let's just have a bit of a look. When we get started with this process, though, we can't go to the next one without getting something else. You can see through here we've got like a provisioner, which can produce flour. Now this would be produced from grain. We can produce barrels from wood and packs of provisions. That's not bad actually, that one there. Clothier back in here can produce coats from fabric, I guess. Water skins and scrolls. I think water skins from leather, and scrolls I'm not sure about. And the weaver can produce fabric, training gear, or packs of trade goods. Now, this one does a good job of producing the fabric. We sort of have to choose one. As I say, you can delay this if you're wanting to. I think I'll just get the provisioner, and then we'll have a bit of a look. This is the next one that comes along. So we've now got coal. Now, this is actually a good one for us. Coal and jerky and bricks can all be produced at the kiln. And so we just need wood for coal. We need meat for jerky. The carpenter can produce planks, simple tools. Actually, that's very, very valuable as well. In this case, this is a real dilemma. Having simple tools is often something we need to be using to actually unlock certain things. And then we have fabric, training gear, and packs of trade goods, so the weaver again. I'm going to pick the carpenter in this instance because the simple tools is often something that can slow you down in the game if you don't have access to it. And then finally, we've got the plantation, the herb garden, or the trapper's camp. Now, two of these use farm fields. I would strongly recommend that you find something that uses the actual farm fields, and just have it locked away. Even if you don't use it, just have it, because if you don't pick something, there's three buildings. There's either the plantation. This one does berries and plant fibre. You've got the herb garden with roots and herbs, and I think I'm going to actually choose this one in this instance. Or you've got like in this case, the trapper's camp does not pick up. It's not a permanent building. This is one that just goes and picks up things, for example, like those eggs that we were looking at through there. So this is one that I sort of tend to like to get because it allows me to get meat, insects, and eggs when we find them. But this will allow me to have a permanent structure where we're always getting herbs and roots, which I can then use in the higher level areas. Now, I would have loved to have had a small farm come through, and there's probably going to be an option where that will come up at some stage. I almost would prefer the small farm, but I think I'm just going to go with the herb garden. There's a few things where herb gardens can be useful, so I'm just going to choose that one there. And that's the three that we now have of those different buildings. Not that we'll use them straight away. We're now just going to wait a little bit. Now, every time we fulfill an order of the Queen, we're going to then have another blueprint. It's going to be rewarded to us all the way through. And so we've got a fair number of different other blueprints that do come up. I'll just let the game run forward so we can sort of have a bit of a look. Let's just go across. We will start to get those eggs now as well. So I'll just go back across to the scavengers camp. And you can see when I hover over them, they just highlight up. Let's just go and throw that in there. And I will just go and put a path. The path does make everything travel a little bit faster. So it's a nice thing to actually have just running through your settlement. So just sort of set up like a major path in through here. And we'll go back around this side as well. All right, now that sort of gets a few things established. While we're doing things, you can see that this one now needs to get some other things. Let's just go and throw some of the lizards. We've got extra lizards in there. Throw them into that one. They'll start to now just go and pick up the eggs. We do need to get everyone with like accommodation. We'll need about 4 of those. So let's just go to the shelters, and we'll just rotate these around. Now we're not I don't know where do I anticipate not going. I do want to go down to there eventually. It's going to be a little while before I come across this other side. Let's just go and throw a couple in that side and a couple in that side. That'll be enough. And then what this will then do is it'll give us the homeless will then be satisfied as these are built. Now our wood will start to come backwards as well. We may have to get like a second woodcutters. We've still got a handful of these guys haven't actually been given any jobs to do just yet. So they're going to break through into here fairly soon. And we now actually have our first lot of orders and also a cornerstone. Now the cornerstone is going to then sort of be an extra one of these. So we're just going to go across. This is the Queen's Envoy, so advanced fuel. So all fuel recipes are 25% faster. And also we get route delivery line, so 3 routes per minute. I think we might choose this one. Now that we've actually picked that herb garden as well, that will sort of help a little bit eventually. And now we go in with our first lot of orders. And this is sort of like really where we're probably going to sort of end this particular episode. So we've got 3 different groups of orders. And again, it's all just randomly given to us. So we sort of have to pick, out of them. So we've got the guild. The objective here is to keep the beaver resolve above 16 for 30 seconds. Now, we're about 11 at the moment. That's going to be a bit difficult. This would then give us 2 beavers, a pack of roots, and also some parts. And we also then get 1 more Queen's Grace. In through here, we need to have 1 scavenger camp. Tick, we've already got that established. We need to have a stonecutters camp. I can do that one straight away as well. We've got the clay sitting right there, which we require. So that's an easy one for us to do. And this one here, we just need to have 2 woodcutters camps and 30 wood. Again, either one of these is very, 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 very simple. This one gives me extra newcomers, which I don't really need. Although it would be handy. I might go this way. Let's go and pick that one there. So that's one objective that we actually have. We'll just get all of the ones that we think we can satisfy, I think. And trappers in through here. So we need to have like 6 lizards for 30 seconds. And we do have 6 lizards right now, actually. This will then give us the trappers camp. That's excellent. Give us some a perk with getting more tanning racks. And we'll get a basket of insects. 35 wood is easy as well. We get 2 more newcomers. I like the idea of getting this trappers camp, to be honest. And then a pack of building materials. A bit more difficult for us to do that one. Let's go and choose that one there. And then finally, the next order that we have at this point in time is, we saw this one before, the stonecutters and the scavengers. So we can sort of choose that one. That's different. I forget which one we chose now. Having 6 humans, we don't have that just yet. And then goods sold. I think we'll just go with this easy one back over here. So we've got, in fact, this is the 2 woodcutters. That's right. So this is a little bit different. Okay, so we can easily do all of these 3. The next lot gets unlocked in 10 minutes. So that will be coming fairly soon. So let's go and fulfill, then we now actually have these different things. And so we'll just go and fulfill another one of these, I guess, and then we'll call this episode to a close. So if I just go down into my camps, the woodcutters camp, and I'm just going to throw that into the bottom here. And we'll also then just tell it to break through into that little zone. So let's just unpause and let them sort of build away. So we've got 26 wood at this stage. So we'll just let them now build up. And we could get the stonecutters camp as well if we wanted to. We've nearly broken through into this little area. Maybe I'll just keep on going just for a little bit longer. So you can still see everyone's still homeless. This will then sort of, as these get finished off, we'll see more and more of them. People will then sort of go into the housing. Down to 16 wood at this stage. Oh, see how trappers is now done as well? So I can actually just go, yep, I've done that one. What that's going to do is it's going to flick me across into here where we then have another thing we can sort of then have a bit of a look at. We've just opened up this glade. Let's have a bit of a look to see what's in here. So we've got mushrooms. Now and we also have clay deposits. Now the mushrooms require a herbalist camp, not a herb garden, the one that we've got. This is a different sort of way of us getting herbs. So that's a herbalist camp. Would be required for that one there. Now we've still got 1 more house to build. What else was there we were going to do? We're going to have a quick look at the orders. So when I do the trappers, You can see that the Queen's impatience is at 0.74. If I go, yep, we're done with this one, we satisfy that one. The resolve goes by -1. Sorry, the impatience drops by -1. This thing goes up, and we have another choice to make in through here. We'll have a quick look. Brewery, lumber mill, or clothier. Now the brewery ultimately would be good if we could find a small farm. And this one here, we could also then get pickled goods as well would be good. We could sort of do the pickled goods in through this side eventually. I might just grab the brewery for now, and then we'll come back to it. Let's just unpause, let this thing build up. That way we're going to get this one. And in reality, actually, I'll just move these down. We don't need to be seeing those just yet. And we might just get the stone cutters as well. So the stone cutters camp. Just rotate that one around. Okay, need to get 2 more into here. Or like 3 more, sorry. That's when we get to the enough wood in through there, we can then tell it what else to do. Let's just go and tell these guys to chop through into here now. By the way, our the danger goes up with each regular glade as well. You can see they're +5 in the regular glades. They're now sort of working their way down that side. And we're nearly there, just 2 more wood. There we go. And we've got the camps as well. So if I go and say, yep, we're done that one, I might as well just do it. That's going to give us 2 extra people. We get another building. Small farm. And this is actually probably more what I want than anything. And so I will actually go that way. We've got the foragers camp as well, which I'll go the small farm. The small farm is used by humans a lot, and we'll just see if we can try to find a good spot for that to then be sort of set up. And then with the camps, we'll keep on going this way as well. We might as well. And so this lot of buildings, we've got the smokehouse, the kiln, and the cookhouse. So we get skewers, biscuits, and pigments. Again, we can get the coal. Just trying to sort of get things where we don't really have everything just yet. Now, we don't actually have anywhere to get pottery done just at this point in time. That would be useful in there. I don't think we have anything for pottery. We can have a look at the different buildings that we actually have. Provisioner, no. Brewery, no. Carpenter, no. And then the camps aren't going to actually produce that. They're just going to gather things in. But now in our food supply, we now have the small farm and the herb garden, so we can at least sort of build both of those if we need to. Okay, look, in this case, I'm thinking this here will be getting the pottery would be good. The coal would be awesome, though. God, that would make such a difference. I'm sort of tempted for pottery. We are going to need it at some point. I'm going to pick that. How are we going? We're down to 15. We've got no more wood left. Just keep the wood coming. The wood is under, even though we use it for building materials, it's also under fuel. And I might turn that off fairly soon. In fact, just to finish this one off, let's upgrade this thing. At this early stage in the game, we can't do too much. We've got like 12 population that are in houses. There's one that's not housed. So I might just go around and just get another house just so that we can keep the resolve reasonably high. Just get another shelter. And with that, we will then... what else have we got? We've got the housing, the provisioner, small farm. We can't use until we sort of find land for the farm. I should find it at some point, but it's important that we actually have these available to us. This is actually a tip, by the way, guys. Make sure you either get something like the small farm or the herb farm, just so you can make use of farm fields if you do find them. If we don't, so be it. Yeah, and as far as the rest is concerned, I think we might, what I will do is I'll just finish off that last requirement. And so I'm just going to go, these are the comfort levels. These are aesthetics, and then these here are sort of harmony. Now we need to have 4 of these built. Now I can just build little fences if I wanted to. Let's just rotate these around. So I might just, I don't know if I can build them on top of each other actually. I'll just see if we can. So we've got the, where was it? Back in through here. Barrels, can they sit over the top? No, they can't really. I get a barrel, and we might just get a something else in through here. Again, we can always move these. We just need 4 of these to sort of get to the next level. All right, so they're going to now bring more wood out from the from in here, and we'll actually turn this off now, I think. And so now we're going to be relying on wood. We've got two wood cutters. Actually, we do need to get some more workers in here. Let's just go and get 2 more lizards from there. And then what we'll find is when this is actually built, when all 4 of these are built, it will automatically go to the next level, and it will actually look a bit different as well. So let's just rotate this thing around, just so we can see it actually happen. Just got to wait for the wood to come in. People will rest around the ancient hearth and make themselves a little bit happier. There we go. We've got our housing now under control again. So at the moment, we don't have any more orders. Like, we're sort of now stuck with those until another 7 minutes comes up, and we've actually fulfilled all of those 3 first orders. Those first ones are easy. The next lot aren't. Well, they become more and more difficult as we sort of get into the game. Just need to sort of keep on pushing along. Nearly broken through into here now. So with the woodcutters, we're trying to find things, but we're also trying to get space for us to be able to then sort of do different things as well. So we're getting clay from in there, and this one now has gone up to the next level. Sorry, I wasn't showing you that at the time. Just got these extra things in front. This has gone up to the next level, so it just makes people a little bit happier. So that's like an enhanced hub. And I'll leave it there, guys. So thanks for watching. That's sort of episode 0. Then when we come in, we'll start to sort of build the higher level stuff in the actual city itself. This is just low level, sort of basic gathering at this point in time. I'll catch you in episode 1. Thanks for watching.